Israel's mighty armored corps was stunned dozens of hulking beasts rolling across the desert, only to vanish in an instant when the unexpected struck. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Iron Conflict and Frontline channel. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most jaw-dropping battlefield moments of recent memory. The reported ambush where the Houthi rebels claimed to have destroyed 20 of Israel's premier MBT, the Merkavas. What really happened? How did tanks considered nearly invincible come up against this challenge? Let's unravel the exterior-interior performance safety features, or rather survivability features, unique selling points, what this means in price and strategic terms, and then draw a conclusion. Let's start with the exterior. The tank in question is the Merkava Mk Roman 4 and its variants from the Israel Defense Forces. On the outside, you'll notice the distinctive angular turret, the sloped frontal hull, and the engine placement at the front in older variants, all design choices to maximize crew protection. Its armor modules are thick, modular composite blocks, and many are fitted with the active protection system known as Trophy, which is designed to intercept incoming missiles. The tracks are wide to distribute weight and allow movement on soft terrain. The suspension is built to keep the turret stable on uneven ground. Also, you'll see external features like smoke grenade launchers, vision sensors, and a large 120mm smoothbore gun with a thermal sighting package. The exterior looks imposing, and in many ways it is. It conveys power, durability, and dominance on the battlefield. Yet, the reported incident where 20 such vehicles were lost in a single ambush suggests that even a formidable exterior can be challenged when vulnerability meets surprise. Moving now to the interior, and this is where we'll linger. Once you climb inside, the driver sits at the front center, a design choice in many Merkava variants that emphasizes crew survivability by putting the engine ahead of the crew compartment in early versions, though later versions changed this slightly. The turret crew, gunner, commander, and loader are positioned behind. The interior is tight yet efficient, with ballistic-resistant armor lining the compartment, energy-absorbing seats, and spall liners that reduce the chance of shrapnel injuries when the armor is hit. You'll find advanced fire control systems. For example, the commander's panoramic sight gives 360-degree day/night vision, while the gunner has a stabilized sight with laser range, finder. Intercom and crew communication systems are built to keep the team integrated under fire. The internal ammunition storage is designed to minimize catastrophic explosion risk. Many tanks store rounds in insulated compartments away from the crew and blast panels that direct the explosion outward rather than inward. The Merkava series specifically places a premium on survival. For example, the rear compartment can be used to carry infantry or wounded personnel, turning the tank into a dual-purpose vehicle. Climate control systems allow for extreme desert heat operations. Severe and chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear filtering may also be present in later upgrades. Instrumentation shows engine status, fuel levels, temperature of key components, allowing the crew to monitor critical parameters in the heat of combat. In the context of the ambush scenario, the interior becomes the last defense line. When an anti-tank missile or IED strikes, the exterior may fail, but features like spall liners, compartmentalized ammo storage, and crew escape hatches come into play. It is here that the human side of the system is protected, and in many incidents of Merkava losses, drivers or some crew survived even when the tank was heavily damaged, proving the interior survival systems worked in part. The comfort of movement, the ease of interface between crew members, the layout of controls enabling rapid reaction, all of these interior features influence combat effectiveness. When one imagines 20 tanks being knocked out in a single ambush, the interior story becomes one of stress, alarms flashing, fire, suppression systems activating, and perhaps crews scrambling to evacuate. It raises the question, did the interior systems hold up? How fast were crews able to exit? Did any automation or sensors warn of the incoming strike? These subtle interior factors speak to the resilience of the vehicle in the worst-case scenarios. Now let's talk about performance. The Merkava MK Roman 4 is powered by a 1,500 HP diesel engine in some versions up to 1,600 HP, driving the tank to speeds of about 60 km/h on road and less off-road, but its mobility is more than just speed. It has high power-to-weight ratio for its class, cross-country drive, advanced transmission, and steering, enabling the tank to maneuver in relatively rough terrain. The fire control system gives excellent first-round hit probability, even on moving targets, thanks to stabilized guns, high-resolution sights, and automatically computed ballistic solutions. The gun can fire a variety of ammunition: APST's armor, piercing fin, stabilized discarding sabot, heat rounds, and sometimes guided missiles. The tank also has a secondary 12.7 heavy machine gun and 7.62 coaxial machine gun for anti-infantry use. Range and endurance are solid. It can operate for several hundred kilometers on internal fuel, with external tankage increasing that salon. That performance, however, is being tested by asymmetric threats: drones, loitering munitions, wides, ambushes in urban terrain where speed is limited and egress routes constrained. The scenario of 20 tanks lost suggests that the performance envelope was exceeded. Perhaps the terrain, surprise, or combination of multiple anti-tank guided missiles, ATMs, and drones allowed the opponent to exploit blind spots. Even the most advanced tanks must still contend with detection, fire discipline, logistics, and combined arms support to perform optimally. Next up, safety features or survivability features. As mentioned earlier, the Merkava is built with crew protection as a central design philosophy. The armor is modular and composite, with reactive armor optional. There is the Trophy Active Protection System, which detects and intercepts incoming missiles and rockets. In many reports, the Trophy system has been credited with saving tanks from hits. Internal blast mitigation, fire suppression systems, insulated ammunition lockers, overpressure systems to protect against chemical attacks, all these are part of the safety net. Crew compartments have fire extinguishing systems that activate automatically or manually if fire is detected. Escape hatches are integrated so that in dire situations, the crew can exit quickly. The fact that in some engagements drivers survived when the tank was destroyed speaks to this safety design. In the context of the massive ambush, though, safety features are stretched to their limits. If multiple missiles hit simultaneously, or an IED blast breaches armor and disrupts systems, then safety features provide life-saving options, but may not save the vehicle. The loss of so many tanks in one incident may reflect an attack vector that bypassed or overwhelmed the protective systems. It underscores that safety isn't absolute, it's relative to threat level and tactics used by the opponent. Now let's examine unique selling points USPs of the Merkava in its class. First, crew-centric design, placing the crew as high priority over ammo capacity or other metrics. Second, modular design enabling field upgrades and repairability, meaning that damaged armor blocks can be changed relatively quickly. Third, dual-purpose capability. The rear compartment can carry troops or evacuate wounded, turning a tank into an armored ambulance in a pinch. Fourth, integration of active and passive protection systems that elevate it among the world's most survivable MBD. Fifth, ability to operate efficiently in desert and urban terrains, with good mobility and fire control systems making it effective across scenarios. Lastly, longevity and continuous evolution. The Merkava family has been in service for decades and has kept pace with threats, making it a mature platform. However, in the ambush scenario, the USB are being tested and possibly exposed. If 20 were destroyed, we must ask, were these tanks operating in a configuration that retained all the USB? Was crew training, maintenance, and situational awareness optimal? Were they deployed in terrain or under threat conditions where their advantages were negated? A USB is only as good as its operational context. Now let's talk about price and strategic cost. Typical list prices for an advanced MBD like the Merkava MK Roman 4 run in the range of $6-8 million per unit depending on configuration, export agreements and support packages. But beyond the sticker price, you must consider lifecycle cost, maintenance, spares, training, logistics, ammunition, upgrades. In the case of this ambush where 20 tanks are claimed destroyed, the aggregate cost is not just the purchase price but the strategic cost of force attrition, manpower, loss of combat capability, delayed operations morale. If each tank costs say $7 million, 20 tanks represent $140 million of hardware alone, not counting upgrades, spares, and lost ancillary gear. Moreover, in modern warfare the price isn't only monetary, it's also political and strategic. A major loss of tanks in a single engagement sends a signal, adversaries gain confidence, deterrence credibility may erode, and the operational tempo can shift. The loss of hardware is matched by a shift in momentum, which can multiply cost. So, in conclusion, the price here must be viewed in full context. Finally, the conclusion. The claim that 20 Merkava series tanks were destroyed in a massive ambush by the Houthi Movement is a dire lesson in how even world-class armor must contend with innovative adversaries, surprise, terrain, and asymmetric threats. On paper, the Merkava boasts an imposing exterior, a highly protected interior, high performance, advanced safety/survivability systems, and compelling unique selling points. But on the battlefield, technology meets tactics and circumstances can change the equation. The strategic cost of such a loss is enormous, not just in money, but in morale, capability, and prestige. For Israel's armored core, it may trigger a reset, new tactics, new deployments, reassessment of threats like drones, loitering munitions, ambushes in unconventional terrain. As viewers of our Iron Conflict and Frontline channel, this is your reminder that in modern warfare the platform is only part of the story. Crew training, intelligence, combined arms support, terrain awareness, logistics, and maintenance all matter. Tanks may dominate the battlefield, but only if they're used under conditions that leverage their strengths and mitigate their vulnerabilities. If you enjoyed this in-depth breakdown, don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and leave a comment. What do you think was the key factor in this ambush? Surprise, terrain, tactics, or vulnerability of the platform? Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll bring you more Frontline analyses.